What the f?
What's going on, guys? Big Al's Bike and Auto coming at you. I just got back from Florida and the weather isn't too shabby up here in New England. It's about 55 degrees, the sun is out, so it feels a little bit warmer than that. And as you can see, just about all the snow is gone, and the more important thing is there is no more road salt left on the roads. So I think it's time to wake up my pretty large hoarding collection of 80s and 90s, mostly General Motors vehicles. Now, not all these vehicles are ready for the spring and summer. This one, the Geo Metro here, I still have to put the new head on it, so I'm going to have to muscle this one out of here. I put it in here for winter storage, and of course never got around to getting that running. You can see I dropped that by accident. First one I'm going to be trying is my 65 Beetle dune buggy. I just checked, it's got oil. I know it's got fuel. This was one that I did not winterize properly. It's been sitting since October with ethanol in the fuel. Not good. Just one of those things. You have as many cars as I do. Sometimes forget about one or two of them. And this one went away the earliest because not a car you want to be driving when it's even chilly out, which it still is. But I do want to get this ready for summer and spring. So let's go ahead and see what happens here, see if it has enough juice. Pretty remarkable that battery has any life left at all. I put no tetherer on it. It was connected all winter. Again, it's a vehicle I overlooked. And I'm surprised it's got 12 volts. Remember, this is carbureted. It has been sitting all winter. It's going to take a few cranks to get her going. No surprise there. It is still kind of cold. This carburetor is still tuned for Florida climate. I never had it recalibrated for the cold weather up here, so it's going to fight me a bit. Hey, we had her. We had her. And she's trying. Good oil pressure, good voltage. Just need to let her warm up, and you can see my foot's off the fuel and she's idling on her own, so that's a good sign. I think in a few minutes I should be out driving this thing. Okay, so I just put a battery in the Allante. Now obviously before I start this up, I'm going to check the oil, and it looks like I might have, yeah, I just hit the hazard button. Okay, false alarm there. I know a lot of you suspected this vehicle would be cursed with electrical gremlins after it's pass as a flood car. We'll see if that's the case. It's been sitting here since December in this spot, not driven, not started, anything. So if it was going to happen, it was going to happen while it sat. So I'm going to go ahead and just check the oil. Gonna find something to wipe the dipstick with, and we'll fire her up. Okay, the oil level is good. This battery I charged up a few weeks ago. I'm not sure if it still has enough juice to crank her over. We'll find out right now. That's what I'm talking about right there. That's what I'm talking about. Hey, Coochie, back up, buddy. That is what I'm talking about. I'm going to move this back just a hair so I can close that hood. About there is good. Oop. There we go. Awakened after... You can see it's got a little oil leak. Awakened after a 4 or 5 month slumber. fired right up. Little squeaky belts, obviously it's been sitting and it's got a leak somewhere, probably leaking on the belts, no big deal. Let's see if we have any smoke coming out the tailpipes. None whatsoever, and I meant to say tailpipe. Nothing, not even a misfire. Wonderful, I'm gonna pull her out, we'll drop that top, and we'll enjoy the sun while we have it. All right, folks, so you can see I'm out in the Allante. She is running as if I just parked her yesterday, and I'm sure a big part of that is the fact that I filled the tank before I parked it. The gas gauge does not work, it never has. It works when it wants to. Sometimes they'll peg over and show you what the fuel is, you know, obviously a sending unit or something, but filled the tank right before I parked it for the winter, and I put in stable fuel stabilizer, and I mean, it's not misfiring whatsoever, it's idling fine. So very happy to report the Allante is doing great, good oil pressure. Very happy about that, although it's definitely not as warm as it was when I started this video. And I know I didn't take a video of the Buggy when I was driving it. I have my phone plugged in now. It was at 3% when I started all this, so I don't have a cigarette lighter in the Buggy, obviously, to charge the phone. The Buggy ran and drove great as well. I put in as much fresh fuel as I could, and it wasn't having any issues with the old gas in there. So happy to report that one's running well. Maybe I'll take the Roadmaster and a few other ones out. We got plenty more daylight today. All right, so here's one I haven't messed with in a very long time. It's been sitting pretty much as I brought it up from Miami, even before then. This is my '89 Buick Riviera. This one's having some electrical issues. It will run, but it'll shut off after about 10 minutes. Now, everybody's gonna run down the comments. They're gonna say crankshaft sensor, cam magnet position sensor, ignition control module. Listen, I know these engines cold. I just haven't diagnosed this one yet. Could be any of those things. Could be something totally different. Could even be an alternator. I've diagnosed nothing because I bought this car, was very busy, and then I moved up here. So I've taken no time to diagnose it. But in the meantime, I'm going to move it because I want to rearrange my garage. Here we go. She runs well when it does stay running. The CRT monitor and the digital dash are not working. Sometimes that can be because of the headlight switch having a problem, which this one does. You cannot turn the headlights off. You can see we obviously have an OBD1 code, which is basically useless. This one runs very nice. Again, when it does run, it runs well. When I got this car from Copart, it had a snap serpentine belt because of a bad water pump. I changed the water pump, I changed the serpentine belt. But who knows, again, what could have been affected by that serpentine belt snapping. Perhaps the alternator is no good as well. For today, I want to rearrange this garage so it's a better workspace, and that obviously involves moving a few vehicles out like this one, which has not moved. God, I don't think I've moved this car since I dropped it off here when I moved here in September. I put it in the garage in this very spot. That was the last time it ran. I see a lot of, not a lot, but I see some smoke. I'm sure I got some oil leaks that are just burning off. Hey, Cooch, stay there. Yeah, it's definitely oil. Definitely oil. So we'll bring her out here in the daylight for the first time in a long time and see how she looks and see how she's running. I doubt you guys can see on the camera, but there definitely is an oil leak that is burning off. Oh, I'm an idiot. I'm an idiot. Look what I forgot. Just bent that thing up pretty good. You can see the valve covers are burning here. Not a big deal, that'll all burn off. Key thing is I dent the hood, and no, I did not. So that's a relief, although I definitely tore up my beautiful Riviera thing there. That's a shame. You see a lot of smoke coming out of her. So since this one does have a shutting off issue, I'm not going to waste any time. I'm going to put the hood down. I'm going to take it around the block, just kind of properly warm it up instead of having it sitting here idle. Then I'll put it back, park it until I'm done rearranging the garage, throw it back in there, maybe I'll put it in a different garage, and that's all I'm going to do with it for now. Sorry guys, I forgot I was filming the cold starts here, but nothing too interesting with the Roadmaster. It fired right up with a good battery. I stole this one from the rec center and have yet to fix. Dropped it in and it fired right up. So again, I'm not surprised about that whatsoever. This is a great running vehicle. And I almost just closed the hood with a wrench sitting there. Man, can't do too many cars at once. You start slipping up. Running real smooth. This one's been sitting since, God, I don't even know, probably December or November. And I have not, I don't think I ever put fuel stabilizer in this one. Just another one I overlooked. Clearly so far has had no effect on the way it's running. I'm going to take her out now for a spin, but you can see the garage queens are all outside right now. All right, so I'm out in the Roadmaster, and as you can see, no check engine lights. Again, this is a 94, so if it did have one, it'd be OBD1, which obviously those don't trip quite as easily as a vehicle at OBD2. There's a lot more things that the car's computer is keeping an eye on. But she's running wonderful for a vehicle that I forgot to put fuel stabilizer in. It is not misfiring at all. The power's all there. Obviously need to get the old fuel out. And some of you are going to go down in the comments and be overly cautious and say, change the fuel filter, do this, do that. I'll get around to it. Again, if this was my one toy, absolutely I would go through everything. But with as many vehicles as I have, it's impossible to keep up on every little thing. I know it's not a good thing, but what is a good thing is I save cars like this from the junkyard. So if they have a little neglected maintenance here and there, it's still a lot better than what they would be. I do change the oil, obviously, in all these vehicles after they sit for a good amount of time. So they'll all get an oil change in the upcoming weeks. This one, aside from that, hopefully they don't need anything else. Just happy to see that all four of these vehicles fired right up and have ran and drove as if I just parked them yesterday. Definitely relieving because I have enough projects as it is, and that certainly lightens my load. So I'm going to drive this around for a little bit, get it up to operating temperature, go back, rearrange my garage, but I think that's going to do it for today in terms of firing up vehicles that have been sitting all winter of mine. Definitely not the end. I have plenty more I have to do. I have my third garage out back where I've got vehicles that haven't sat all winter, but they've been sitting for a month or two now, like the 93 Ford Taurus GL. I got the Cutlass Supreme sedan, both Trofeos, the Volvo 740. That one actually has been sitting since November or December. So that'll be an interesting one to see how it does. Remember, all these vehicles came from Miami and were all from South Florida and had been there most of, if not their entire lives. So most of them do pretty well despite that. They run no differently. Sometimes a little bit colder. Obviously the thermostats are a little out of whack. They're for warm weather. Actually, this will not be the end of the video because I'm going to get the S600 running as well, and that's been sitting all winter. So there will be one more vehicle in this video, and I'll leave it at that. Make a separate video for the Cutlass Supreme, the Taurus, both Trofeos, and the Volvo. So I'll tune back in when I get to the Mercedes. Okay, never in a million years I think it was going to start up. The battery was still 11.7 volts, 32% charged, and it started for whatever reason. So sorry I didn't get that on video, but you can still hear it running cold right now. No warning lights so far, which is good. I'm going to go unhook my battery charger there. Sounds good, but I knew that was too good to be true. The ABC warning is back. This is the not so bad one, but I'm sure it'll go red later on as I start driving it. Again, it's going to go back into the workshop, as they like to call it, soon, so I'm not too concerned about that. And as I predicted, not even a few minutes later, red ABC warning. Anyway, guys, that's going to do it for this video. I'm going to take this thing out for a drive, see how it's doing, get that battery charged up, and go through this video together for you. So if you like this video, let me know. I will do a second one for the remaining cold starts and maybe some other kind of off the usual content like this in the future. Thanks for watching. Keep an eye out for the next one.